Hello YouTube, this is Boston Best 0407, and as I get older, human nature never ceases to amaze me. Things that most people would describe as absurd or barbaric never cease to amaze me. And as I was researching my video on male castration, the video I'm planning to do, I decided to look up and see if there was a feminist perspective on this history. So as I did this, I came across what seems to me to be an entirely mainstream, normalized website, pretty much. It's not like, for example, a feminist website, and the girls on here talking about this stuff don't seem to be, they're not like ideologues. They seem just like regular people, and I think they might even be in their 20s, because the way they talk, they seem like they're, about my age. And the thing is, I want to point out, I want to emphasize that this is a poll and a forum discussing punishment for rape, and then they go into girls castrating males. But it's talking about punishment specifically for rape. But as you will see, they go right out of, they don't concentrate on that. They end up going off, and it doesn't even become clearly obvious after a while that they're even talking about punishing rapists. But there's several points I want to make. Like I said, I wanted to point out that this was not like a rad femhub place. These are normal girls, and this is on a mainstream website, so you can just find it. Anybody could find this. Now, as I read some of these comments, I'm going to use. I probably shouldn't give them anonymity, or if I'm saying that right. But I'm going to just use the word blank because they use their names. I'm going to just use the term blank. Furthermore, I also want to point out that they mentioned feminist groups talking about this, or feminist groups advocating this. But it's not, for example, radical feminists. There's never like some group is advocating this. No, they're saying feminists in general. They talk about feminists several times, but they're not discussing. They're not saying it's some group. They're just saying in general feminists. So here we go. Here are some interesting quotes. Hey girls, the more I've looked into this, I'm realizing that girls castrating boys and men was much more common in the past than we think. As well as Blank's historical examples, we know that male captors were often castrated by girls. In battles too, captured soldiers would have their male parts sliced off. I recently read another story where a band of girls captured some boys who were invading their territory, and the boys all had their stuff cut off. I think castration was quite common. It's only recently that a girl can grow up without seeing this or taking part in it. Hey blank, I couldn't agree with you more. Having read accounts that torture and interrogation used by women are usually aimed at the male genitalias, and more often than not end in castration, surely in the future, female-controlled society, castration will become as common as circumcision is today, with feminists already suggesting that all adolescent males be castrated after they have produced at least 8 usable sperm samples. Apparently, castrating them as young as possible will produce more placid, obedient boys. Blank. Wouldn't we only need sperm samples from the most preferred males, that is, the strongest and most fit? One such males could provide the biological material for thousands and thousands of such males, after which, of course, he could be summarily dealt with. Those males deemed too weak or lacking the properly sized genitals could be removed entirely from the gene pool. How? I'm not sure, but they could be castrated, pentectomized, I can't say that. It's the removal of the penis, at a very young age, or raised to be fodder for entertainment purposes. Hey, sexy blank. Anytime any of us runs across stories like this, we should post them. It's good to keep informed, and personally, I just love reading them. She quotes, I recently read another story where a band of girls captured some boys who were invading their territory, and the boys all had their stuff cut off. I think castration was quite common. It's only recently that a girl can grow up without seeing this happen or taking part in it. Well, bring back the good old days. Blank. The next comments or quotes again. Surely in the future female-controlled society, castration will become as common as circumcision is today, with feminists already already suggesting that all adolescent males be castrated after they produce at least 8 usable sperm samples. I would actually prefer that males not be circumcised until they turn 18, and then it should be done as a ceremony, in front of girls, by a girl or woman, without anesthetic. I would love to watch the wound being sewn shut with a dulled needle. He would be dancing around pretty good. Maybe could sprinkle some salt and pepper on it before the sewing. As far as the castration goes, I think it should be done on their 21st birthday. From the time they are very young, until then, their wieners should be tortured regularly by whomever wants to do it, with or without reason. I'm not talking about just kneeing him or pulling on it. It should be cut, burned, twisted, stomped on, packed with sand, stabbed, anything to produce the most agony that it can endure. Blank. Too right, blank. A few carefully selected males could be kept in a protected environment, away from the testicle shrinking, feminizing of the word, that's successfully taking place. Fed a strict diet and exercise regularly to achieve maximum sperm production, who would only need a few off them looked away to sustain a healthy, usable population of males. Purposely bred to be physically fit and strong for hard work and with very low intelligence, so they know and accept their place as inferiors. Some used for work, some as servants, and of course plenty for entertainment. Blank. I could not agree with you more that circumcision should not be carried out until the male is at least 18, maybe on his birthday. As you say, a ceremony could be performed by all the male members and friends of the family. His total humiliation of being naked, and the maximum pain of cutting a fully developed wiener. Sprinkling some salt on the open wound, a great idea to prevent infection. Surely the best method of castration is slowly crushing the testicles, one at a time, in a vise. My mother prefers the idea of using a couple of house bricks. The next one. Some used for work, some as servants, and of course plenty for entertainment. I think the male is deemed worthless, that is, those not physically appealing or suitably strong or underendowed, which would be almost all, should be viciously tortured and disposed of in slow and painful ways. Those males whose role has yet to be decided should also watch. That way they will know what lies in store for them if they are marked for similar treatment. Blank. I could not agree with you more that circumcision should not be carried out until the male is at least 18. Maybe on his birthday, as you say, a ceremony that could be performed by all the female members and friends of the family. His total humiliation of being naked and the maximum pain of cutting a fully developed wiener. The sprinkling on some salt on the open wound, a great idea to prevent infection. This should be the case for all those males who are to be kept relatively intact for work and such. Those who are not of such and will be able to determine that long before 18 should be painfully circumcised at a young age, though not as young as we do it now. Surely the best method of castration is solely crushing the testicles, one at a time in a vise. My mother prefers the idea of using a couple of bricks. She was quoting, but it wasn't clearly obvious on here. I love the brick idea. I like the idea of placing the nuts between the bricks and then instead of simply pushing them together, moving the bricks up and down or side to side while applying pressure. Would crush and grind the nuts off. Would be good to do it to a hard wiener too, especially with bricks with very coarse, rough surfaces. And then a boy chimes in. Hey, I'm a boy, but I support castration. If a boy tries to have sex with a girl who says no, she should be allowed to cut off his erect and stuff. They edit it out for some bizarre reason. And his balls too if she wants. Blank. Hey, blank, who was the poor creator, and hey, blank, the boy. Do you think a girl should be able to choose a method of castration? Do you think the male's stuff should be erect? I am not in favor of castration, really. I think it's too cruel. Blank. Blank. Of course the girl should be able to choose the method, and the male's stuff should definitely should be erect. It is more entertaining and appropriate. As you're a girl, I am surprised you're not in favor. I would think all girls would be in favor. Blank. Please don't assume what girls should think. We have our own views. Personally, I think castration is cruel and barbaric. It would ruin people's lives, and I can't support that. One person takes a moral stand on this. Hey, blank. Welcome to the discussion. Yes, castration is cruel and barbaric. So is rape. This poll was started about punishment for rape, which also ruins people's lives. Castration as a punishment prevents the crime from being repeated, therefore giving the victim peace of mind that this person will not to return to rape her again. Too many times women live their lives in fear that the person they testified against will return and rape her again, because so many times a rapist gets off with minimal punishment. When someone is attacked, they seldom get off with minimal rape. Also, many women never report the rape out of fear that the rapist will come back to get them. Castration prevents the population as a whole from paying the room and board of the rapist for as long as they are in jail. If it doesn't prevent the rapist from being an attacker again, it at least gives them the punishment that they deserve. Any attack upon a female after castration would mean execution. Blank. Now, of course, I just want to point out, none of this is clear, because obviously from before the discussion, it's not per se clear that they're just talking basically about all men. They're not talking specifically about punishment for rape, but she seems to forget that, and she's the main one who was discussing all the other nasty stuff. Continuing. Welcome, blank. You are, of course, welcome to express your opinion here. Many of us here are of a different opinion than yours, but that's okay. As blank said, castration and removal of the wiener are severe. But as she also pointed out, so is rape. Too often males receive little, sometimes no punishment for committing such a crime. Completely absurd. I don't know how anyone can think this. The opinions expressed by myself and others here are a result of being fed up with the fact that each year millions of women and girls are raped, tortured, even murdered by males for no other reason than they don't know how to control their urges. Again, not true. So if chopping, burning, having eaten, crushing, or otherwise destroying some wieners and nuts of those men who commit such horrible crimes could result in less rapes, as I think it would, that wouldn't be worthwhile. Then wouldn't that be worthwhile? Again, welcome to the board. Blank. Hey, Happy New Year. Hey, everyone. I agree that in certain this must be old. Actually, this is actually very old. It's I probably should point this out. It's from almost 3 years ago. Surprisingly, I'm surprised it's still up here. It's still worth discussing, even though it's 2013. Happy New Year. Hey, everyone. I agree that in certain cases, cutting off a male's wiener and testicles might be rather excessive. But I think it is important that the decision whether a male should be castrated or not should always be made by the woman involved, i.e. victim of rape abuse, the mother and sisters of rapists. Blank. That's just I love that too, because the woman should be a law unto herself. Anyway, continuing. Happy New Year to everyone. Couldn't agree more. Blank. Blank. Should totally be the decision of the victim, or we're too young, the decision of her mother or sister, etc. Found this case. What do you think should be done with him? Teachers and administrators, Allentown. Teachers and administrators knew they had a problem with FH, a 12-year-old who had been accused FH. I don't know if that's supposed to be a name. A 12-year-old who had been accused of going into a bathroom stall and sexually assaulting a first-grade girl. But instead of calling police and removing FH, district officials covered up the attack and allowed him to remain in class, leading to the sexual assault of 3 more first-grade girls and the rape of a five-year-old girl. That's disgusting, blank. I will email you as soon as I get a chance. What I feel should be happening to such boys is unpostable here, blank. That's disgusting, blank. I will email you, quoting. She's quoting from just before. Hey, blank, please share. If this isn't a justification for what we think and what we post, then what is? Blank, blank. Hey, blank, what do you think should be done to this horrible little boy? Does his age excuse a lack of punishment? I did some further research and found a case of a 9-year-old boy who raped a 3-year-old girl. Even if they don't know it's wrong, they should surely realize from the action of the girls that their actions are unwanted. Blank. Hey, blank, what do you think should be done to this horrible boy? She's quoting again. Does his age excuse lack of punishment? At 12 years old, he definitely knows what he's doing. The fact that he repeated the crime shows that he enjoyed what he was doing as well. There is no excuse for not punishing him. I think his urethra should be destroyed with detergents and hot pieces of metal. His testicles should be smashed with a hammer until they are mush. The head of his wiener should have acid poured over it until it's eaten away, and then the wiener should be cut off at the base and run through a meat grinder in front of him. His crotch should be cauterized with a hot iron to prevent him from bleeding to death. Quotes again. I'm not going to repeat the quote. The wiener. She's talking about the 9-year-old boy though. The wiener should be surgically split in two from the opening down to the base, and the titium inserts embedded in the shaft, so that any erection afterwards would be painful to the point of not being able to maintain one. And then she quotes again. I'm not going to repeat the quote. These are just suggestions to make it impossible for them to repeat their crimes, and to always remember by suffering what they had done. Blank and blank. Hey blank, I emailed blank what I thought should be done to the revolting creature. They're talking about little boys. I don't care what these little boys did. They're talking about children. These people are talking about children. I emailed blank what I thought should be done to the revolting creature. I don't know if she got it. Your methods for dealing with him, blank, sound ideal. I hope plenty of women and girls are invited to watch. Hey blank and blank. I did receive your email, blank, and quite enjoyed it. I will certainly forward it on to blank. I have only one concern about doing it, so. I too want to read your discussion, and I totally understand about posting them here at the board. Can we three exchange our thoughts, ideas on this subject via email? I sound like a whiny kid, but I don't want to be out of the loop, blank. Hey blank and blank. Can we three exchange our thoughts and ideas on this subject via email? I'm just gonna skip over that because they're just talking about BS. I could not agree more, blank. Tammy is responsible for us being able to air some very strong thoughts on what should really happen to rapists. Well, let's be honest, quite a large number of males in general. This is where they've sort of gotten away from their whatever they were talking about in regards to rapists. We three should agree to always share our emails on the matter in hand, blank. Hey blank, blank, and blank. Was just reading your recent post, and I think the idea of castration becoming the norm for males would be a good thing. Also, if we could ensure they produce a good number of sperm samples, perhaps as a ritual ceremony with women present and controlling the ejaculation, and situations of male sexually abusing women will become a thing of the past. It would be good to chat with any of you online. Blank has my email if you want to get in touch, as I welcome your thoughts, blank. Blank. I know the poor males get upset at the talk of having them castrated becoming commonplace, but the fact remains, it's been proved that castration performed on young males almost eliminates aggression and makes the boy far more placid and easier to train. They're talking about men as if they're animals. I have read that your suggestion of collecting a number of their sperm samples before castration has been discussed within feminist groups, not radical feminists, not whatever feminists, just feminists. They suggest that all males should be castrated as soon as proving 8 good samples. I have talked with numerous friends about this subject, and many women think it would be a good idea to certainly have troublesome boys castrated nor sexual offenders of any age. The men I've spoken to are not quite so enthusiastic. I guess it's another kick in the testicles of the crumbling patriarchy. As for making the milking of their sperm a public ceremony, sounds great, but I think we need to build the matriarch a little further first. Female supremacy, blank. Okay, well, I guess I've pretty much discussed everything that needs to be said here. There's some other rather choice samples, and there's probably other ones I haven't even read that are probably even worse than the ones I've given. But you pretty much get the idea, and that's pretty much how I'm going to leave it. I'm going to just leave it at that. I have to say that I think if this doesn't prove one of two things. One, if it doesn't prove that feminism is a hate movement at its core, I don't know what else does. I mean, I've heard less awful things on sites like Stormfront. Because I remember a while back I was reading about fascism and white supremacist movements a lot, and I didn't see anything as bad on fucking Stormfront, excuse my language, that is as bad as this. I mean, they're talking about torture and humiliation of men. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to talk to anybody like that. And the nonchalantly way they discuss it is just beyond belief to me. I can't even wrap my mind around it. Second, if this doesn't prove the fact that, as Schopenhauer pointed out many years ago, that women don't have any concept of justice, then I don't know what is. I don't know what else doesn't prove this. This isn't justice. This is institutionalized revenge, targeted just randomly for the crime of rape against anybody who happens to have male genitalia. Therefore, I'm going to end here. This has been almost 20 minutes. But I hope everybody checks this out. And like I said, I'm going to leave a link in the low bar. I'll probably leave some other link. I'm going to leave some other links just to emphasize how cruel this is. Some other ones relating to the subject of rape, just to really send home how unbelievable all this is. I've never seen anything like it before. And anyway, that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.